Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So for this video, we're going to be checking out some vintage inspired bracelets from the brand Forstner Bands. Now, full disclosure, Forstner did reach out to me and supply these bracelets for the channel, and I don't have to return them. However, they did not have any input to the content of this video, and no money changed hands either. And before getting into the bracelets I have in front of me here, I'll just mention anytime you purchase one of their bracelets, it comes in this box, and it also comes with a pretty cool slot screwdriver tool, which is perfectly suitable for sizing individual links for these bracelets because it's a single slot screw system. So that's a nice feature to have. And also when you purchase these bracelets, they'll come with a set of spring bars, and if they do have specific end links to fit a particular watch model, it'll come with that as well. So that's the case for the watch on the left. This is my vintage Omega Seamaster. This is a 2250 reference Seamaster, and you can see that it does have solid end links that do fit the head of the watch very well. So really good integration. It is a solid end link. This is their flat link bracelet. It's made of 316L surgical stainless steel, and you can just see the nice drape you get, the really good articulation, how the bracelet just folds completely over the case back of the watch. And it has a nice taper to it, which I appreciate. A lot of Omega bracelets don't really taper much, especially on the modern Seamasters. This one is 20 millimeters at the head of the watch, and then you get a taper down to about 16 millimeters before you hit the Forstner clasp. Now, it is branded with a JB, which I learned was one of the successors to the Forstner company, Jacob E. Bender. This clasp has 8 levels of micro adjustment anchoring points, so you're going to get a good fit with this bracelet. Now, that being said, it is very much a pressed piece of metal. It's almost a little sharp, so you gotta watch for hot spots, but this is very much keeping in line with the vintage inspiration of bracelets made back when Omega did their flat link system. And it is just a simple friction fit closure here. What I do like is those prominent slot screws for sizing individual links. You can just utilize that screwdriver that comes when you purchase the bracelet. Now here's a quick in-studio wrist shot just to show you how this flat link bracelet wears with my Seamaster. And for reference, my wrist size is 7.5 inches. I had to remove 3 links, so this would easily fit a wrist size up to 8.5 inches if you're worried about how large the bracelet is. And this particular flat link bracelet, the links are fairly thin, so the overall weight is definitely felt more on the head of the watch, but the comfort is really there with really good articulation on the wrist. Now if we transition over to my Seiko Sarb here, the bracelet that's paired with it is their bullet style straight end link bracelet. So that basically means that any watch that has an even lug width, this is a 20 millimeter lug opening for the Sarb, this bracelet will fit that. And this bracelet is kind of unique. It does draw inspiration heavily from a vintage Bulova Accutron Astronaut. And this is a 5-link style bracelet. Very nicely finished too. You have layers of brushing and high polish that's on the intermediate sections of the links. But then the standout feature is if you look at the flanks here, they're cut at aggressive angles. So it's almost like a 45-degree angle cut, and high polish on the sides of these links, and it's a nicely rounded link, kind of like what you would find on an Omega Speedmaster, but these links are a little bit more substantial than you're going to find on the flat link bracelet of the Omega. And the construction for this again is also 316L surgical stainless steel. Now I found that the bullet bracelet pairs very well with my Seiko Sarb models, not only this Sarb here, which is the 035, but also with my Sarb 017, which is the well-known Seiko Alpinist. What I like about this bracelet is that it just feels more substantial. Again, the links are thicker and more rounded, and the highlight for me is actually the Forstner milled clasp that's used for this particular bracelet system. It does have a twin push button release, and it's a fully milled clasp here, so significant swing arms, yet if I close it back up, you're still getting multiple layers of micro adjustment. So again, getting a good fit for any of these bracelets is going to be easy to do. You still get the same slot screw system here for removing links. And again, I think if you buy this particular bracelet, it would easily fit an 8.5 inch wrist without taking out links. And then of course you can fine tune the adjustment at the level of a clasp. So again, here's just a quick in-studio wrist shot of this bullet bracelet paired up with my Seiko Sarb. Again, 7.5 inch wrist here, or that's 19 centimeters in circumference if you're using the metric system. I do find that this bracelet has a little bit more heft to it, so it does balance out the head of the watch very well. Alright, so that's a quick overview of both bracelets that Forstner supplied here. So I'll just go over the pricing for both of these and maybe talk about the pros and cons for each particular bracelet. So starting off with the Omega here and their flat link. This guy is priced at $150 right now. I do think that you're getting very good articulation and comfort on the wrist with this particular bracelet. That being said, I do think that the clasp is a bit of a letdown. If you're just trying to go for a feel of quality or robustness, I feel like this thin piece of pressed metal might be a potential point of failure. Now, all that being said, you can actually purchase this flat link in a more contemporary design, and it will use slightly thicker links, and the clasp will also be upgraded to the same milled clasp that's used on the bullet bracelet. Now, with those upgrades, it will run you a bit more money. That would run you at $185. But overall, I think that you're getting a very nicely integrated and vintage-inspired bracelet for the Seamaster here. Now, transitioning to the bullet bracelet here, this one does run $155, so just slightly more expensive than the flat link for the Omega Seamaster. This one, because it's a straight end link, you're getting more flexibility in what watches you can pair with it. And I do even think that they do have options for solid end links for specific watch models. You just have to check out their website to confirm that. In terms of potential negatives, because of the angle that these flanks of the links are cut on, it does look like a fairly dramatic taper before you hit the clasp of this watch. And visually to me, it just looks a little bit dainty, but it is very secure, rest assured. And outside of that, if you're going to be wearing this bracelet with a watch head that's fairly light, it might overpower it a little just because the links are a little bit more rounded, more substantial, and so is the clasp. Now, I do really want to thank Forstner Bands for sending in these bracelets for the video, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about these particular types of bracelets in the comments section. And if you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. It helps out a ton, and as always, I can't wait to catch you guys in the next video.